Attention, please. So the afternoon meeting is proceed now. The time is 1:22, and all board members here. Can we start a roll call?
Yongping Chen. Vice President Francisco Kim.
I'm here.
Gregory Leung.
Here.
Shudong Li.
Here.
Dr. Amy Mateki.
Here.
Ruben Osorio.
Here.
We're all present.
Thank you, Ms. Brother. So we start next item. Item 8, discussion and the possible action on acupuncturist posting requirements, wall license, and the notice to consumers. I will let our EO, Mr. Padilla, lead this.
Thank you so much, President Chen. If you turn to the material items for item 8, posting requirements, you'll see a memo prepared by our policy coordinator, Christine Brothers. And what we're addressing here are the current 2 posting requirements that the Acupuncture Board has of its licensees. President Chen wanted to take a moment to remind our licensees of these items, just to make sure that the profession is on the same page with the board. One of these items was introduced relatively recently, and another was introduced less than 10 years ago, but a little bit further back. So we'll start with the wall license, which is the newest requirement. And we've heard some comments on this already today. But this is required if you're practicing even semi-regularly at a location, a physical location. This is to legitimize your place of practice, also known as a place of practice license, but we call it a wall license. And it's similar to other medical professions that have clinics and are applying for a place of practice license. The specific requirements are listed there. It's a really easy application process, $50, and you get one for each location that you are practicing regularly or semi-regularly at. Additionally, there's a second posting requirement, which is the notice to consumers of licensure by the Acupuncture Board. And this may be missed by some. This was a regulation, and ultimately licensees, and I think it's probably best to just read the code section. This is on the second page of the materials. 1399.469.3 of the California Code of Regulations, subsection A, states, a licensed acupuncturist engaged in the practice of acupuncture shall provide notice to each patient of the fact that the acupuncturist is licensed and regulated by the California Acupuncture Board. This notice must be posted at each of the practice locations the licensee provides services. The notice shall include the following statement and information. Quote, notice to consumers. Acupuncturists are licensed and regulated by the California Acupuncture Board. We have our phone number listed at 916-515-5200, and the board's website is listed at www.acupuncture.ca.gov. And then in addition, subsection B specifies that the notice required by this section shall be provided by prominently posting the notice in a conspicuous location accessible to the public view on the premises where the acupuncturist provides the licensed services, in which case the notice shall be at least 48-point font. So both of these could definitely be placed side by side to meet the requirements of the Acupuncture Board of its licensees. Any questions from the board members?
This is Gregory Leung, public board member. I'm wondering, how do you enforce having a wall license posted?
Great question, Member Leon. We do not have an inspection team. So what usually happens is there could be a complaint filed by a consumer, but actually more commonly than not, what happens is when we go in to investigate a complaint about something else, we then check to see that their posting requirements are being met. It may be an additional violation to the complaint submitted at that point, and it would be added to their violations. And as Mr. Hurt mentioned earlier, we would provide them an opportunity to come into abatement, to register for that wall license, and to post that up, or it could lead to fines if there's problems with getting that happening.
May I ask another question? What's the penalty for not having the wall license?
A citation and fine, and depending on how many times you are refusing to do that, then it could escalate to higher and higher fines, and then perhaps disciplinary action for not obeying the board, which is obey. That requirement is listed in our BCP as well, to obey the board's laws.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from board members? Madam President, shall we open it up to the public, or would you like to make?
Yeah, so no comments from the board members. Okay, so I think one public comments in
The board didn't take an action. We just included that on there in case the board wanted to take an action.
Yeah, this morning I heard one public comment here said when the licensee find the employer to get a job and should check the credibility, and the war license is one of the credibility for the and of course more than that, it is just one kind of for consumer have confidence too. Consumer go to the office, to go to the room, they will look at when they're waiting time, so they will look around, see anything like that. So you increase their confidence to the licensees, and with that information, so they know what's the phone number, they can call the board, so they feel more relaxed. So it's better protect the public. Okay.
Just to add to that, the wall license is a great item to look up. We, through the Department of Consumer Affairs, have a DCA live search function. It's on the DCA's, the Department of Consumer Affairs website, where you can see any of the professional licenses that the state registers or licenses, including the acupuncture license as well as the wall license. So if you put in a license number or even just a last name or a partial last name, it'll put up options that match that partial. And I encourage our consumers and our licensees to go ahead and look up folks' licenses that they'll be interacting with.
Can I make a comment? I have a brief comment. I just wanted to add that the notice to consumers is available on our website. If you go to the licensee tab and under general information and do notice to consumers, there is a mock-up of what it would be like to post it on there. And then also the DCA live search, if you go to our website, it's right on our website, verify a license. So if you go to the board's website, you can access both those documents. So it should be easy to check people's credentials, and it's also should be easy to print up a compliant notice to consumers that board requires. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Heather. So I have one question. Is possible when we send out the license renew letter and we remind them to renew the war license as well and the payment, can we add it on to put the notice out as a reminder?
We could. Our notices right now are going out as postcards, so there's very limited real estate. So that's a little bit tricky, but we are in the process of doing an email notification. It would be really easy to do it in that place. So we'll add that in the email notification. And actually, we're finding that even though people give us address of records, their email is a more dependable source for them to reply to us. So yeah, so we can definitely do that.
Thank you. So in the email, if you, it's possible to put that notice as a form, so they can just print out as like PDFs. For me, the wording is hard to make a perfect. There's a requirement, the font or the size of the word, and it's very difficult to put them together. And probably a lot of people, they have the same issue. So if we can design a PDF and they just
That's what's
download,
on the
and
website. Exactly. That's exactly what's on the website.
website has it.
And the way we would do it, we wouldn't attach it, but we'd give you a link to directly to that document. It's complicated to do out a mailing with thousands of licensees to their individual place and then post something on there, but it's really easy to put the link and you can just click on it and take you right to that document that's completely compatible with the board's regulations, the font size, what needs to be on there, the information, everything.
Okay, perfect. So how about just the remind in the renewal notice, remind us, you go to this website, this
Yeah.
link, they can print.
Yeah, totally.
So just one sentence,
Right.
not much space on the postcard.
No, well,
Okay.
The postcard is incredibly difficult to design and change. It would be only through the email that we'd be able to facilitate additional, very limited space. Yeah, and it's a very involved process to get it out. Yeah.
Appreciate your explanation, and it's workable for everybody, email, online, website, right? Okay, so let's open the public comment.
Anonymous public member. Mr. Bodea, perhaps you could remind the public and the profession the purpose of the wall license, and I'm asking whether or not it's being effective in meeting the purpose and having some effect on enforcement. Thank you.
Yeah, as I stated at the beginning, the purpose of the wall license is to legitimize the clinic where the practice of acupuncture is happening as a regular location of the practice of acupuncture. Additionally, one of the motivations for generating this requirement was to stop the lending out of licenses for human trafficking and other such nefarious acts that has been problematic for our licensees. Sometimes it's unbeknownst to them, otherwise, sometimes other times under duress. So yeah, this is a process that legitimizes that aspect. In terms of human trafficking, we have seen far less complaints. It's been less of an issue there. That's not to say that that stopped, but we are hopeful that this continued adoption or adherence to this new requirement will get everybody on board. And kind of speaking to what we were discussing earlier with degrees and equivalent level of training with other licensees in the healing arts practice, those other licensees have places of practice with licenses as well on top of their practice license. So this just puts them in the same regulatory domain. There's been no call for a review. We've had no issues with it, and it's been successful moving forward. If the board feels that it's problematic, we can look at another review, but you've seen our numbers. They're increasing in terms of its adoption, and it's doing what we had intended to set it out to do.
This is the moderator. We missed the question which spurred that response.
The question was this the purpose, was this requirement meeting the purpose for its drafting or enactment? And
Thank
the
you.
answer was yes.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Andy Huang. I'm a licensed acupuncturist, also DAOM. But also, before my retirement, I also served as a public safety commissioner for over 10 years in the city of Cupertino. So I work with the police, the sheriff, the fire, the EMTs. So from a public safety viewpoint, if you look at EMT, the sheriff, fire, even community college students, they all have a picture ID. So in Cupertino, we have a lots and lots of acupuncturists practicing. And one of the concerns from a public safety point of view is a wall license or even a paper license they carry in their wallet cannot really accurately identify who's who because it's only a name, right? It's not legal for a patient to ask the doctor or the acupuncturist, please show me your California driver license ID to match the picture against the wall license or the wallet license. So we humbly like to request the board if we will consider when you issue the wall license or the wallet paper license, could you include actually a picture of the licensee? So this way, then the patient can accurately identify the acupuncturist is who he or she say who it is. I mean, like if you go to a hospital, MD, of course, all the doctor carry ID, even a nurse, MP, AP, right, PAs, even the technician, when you get your x-ray, they all carry a picture ID. Okay, so, this is why we like to humbly request, would the board please consider either issue an actual picture ID, just like the EMT, they all carry picture ID, or if you want to shave some costs, at least on the paper license, include the picture of the practitioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Huang. Any more? Okay. Just come here.
We need you on the mic.
Okay. I think it's a great idea. And I also think even your college diploma, university diploma of your acupuncture diploma should have photos because anyone can pass for you.
More comments from Ru? Okay, there's no, so open public comments from online. Moderator, please.
We are open for public comment on agenda item 8 via WebEx. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take just a few seconds now to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request for public comment, do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, thank you, moderator David. Next item is, we don't need to vote, right?
No.
Okay. Item 9, discussion and the possible action regarding creating a regulation offering CE credit to licensees attending board meetings. So, Ms. Christina Brother, you lead this. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Okay. So at the March 2025 board meeting, it was requested that the board review and discuss an option to authorize licensees to earn CE for the attendance of board meetings. So we went ahead and looked at different healing arts boards and provided a summary of the maximum number of CE hours that they allow their licensees to use towards the renewal of their license for attending a board / committee meeting. So we looked at Board of Chiropractic Examiners. They will allow up to 4 hours for the renewal. Board of Psychology is 8 hours. Physical Therapy Board, 8 hours. Respiratory Care Board, 5 hours. Board of Pharmacy, 6 hours for board meeting attendance and 2 hours for committee meeting attendance. And Board of Occupational Therapy is 6 hours. And then we went ahead and provided excerpts of each regulation in regards to the allowance for CE for board meeting attendance. So I don't know if I'll go and read through each one, but some boards take on it is it could be hour for hour. Sometimes it's pretty complex and they will get into how a licensee records their attendance and how they then submit that to the board. And then other ones are really straightforward, like physical therapy board, you get up to 8 hours. For, for it's 2 hours of CE per meeting. And then I personally I think it's Board of Pharmacy's approach and Board of Occupational Therapy, like a little more straightforward. But there's different directions that you can take. And so I don't know if you guys looked over each one, or if we want to go this way. I thinking it would increase our attendance of meetings, but just something to look over and discuss.
Additionally, I would like to point out that in the electronic packet, there are hyperlinks to the specific code sections, which actually include additional areas that those specific programs allow their licensees to have continuing education credit. So the board isn't expected to make a decision today. This is really to introduce what other boards are doing, start the discussion, explore our options here. And I would urge, and I hope the public and the board members have looked at other areas, but I know some other programs allow for example, conferences or having a speech, or again, they have specific criteria that you would have to meet, even writing journals or articles and whatnot. So in terms of finding alignment with other healing arts professions and how they're offering their licensees continuing education, there's a wealth of information here.
We open comments for all the board members.
Yeah, I have a question. So let's say we set it for 6 hours, and what if the meeting adjourns like less than 6 hours? So still give them over them 6 hours of credit?
So for some of these, like they'll say a max of 6 hours, and then they'll do 2 hours per meeting, max. So, I mean, we could specify in the regulation if we wanted to be that, either 2 hours per meeting or as long as the meeting lasts, whichever is less, right?
Another question is for the ethics. If sometimes some of the meetings involve a lot of ethics regulations and other agenda, then maybe they can get the credit for that ethics.
I would caution against that. Obviously, the board members are welcome to discuss that. I only say the cautionary, I'm invoking the precautionary principle here only because if we recall at the last meeting when we were discussing scope at the committee level, we were really trying to make an effort, and as we always do, to inform the public and educate the public about the process and the ways available to the board. Oftentimes, especially for newcomers, they're not aware of how the meetings function, what the role of the board is, what authority the board has. Perhaps our stakeholders, would like the board to do something. It's just not within its authority. So by awarding law and ethics credit, in that situation, what we heard during public comment was, again, contrary to what we were advising the public in that situation. So we were saying the board can't do anything about scope about this. This is where the profession must step in and lead the way. And then we were continuing to receive public comment saying the board should make this as part of the scope. So we don't test at the end, right? Which, like for distance education courses, you have to offer it test where you have 70% questions right to be able to get to confirm the credit for that. So there's really no way to ensure, especially with the example of the last meeting. I'm not saying that not all of our public members, our members of the public, aren't capturing what we're saying. It's just that we were seeing examples right in front of us of how they weren't capturing that. And then oftentimes, we want to specify because they could be in the audience and they could be sleeping or they could be on their phone and not hearing what they're saying. So it's not an engaging scenario like a continuing education classroom, right? Where you are being, oh my God, are they going to call on me to answer this question? I don't know if that still happens, right? But, like you are in that educational setting specifically to learn that. Obviously, we want people to be involved in the board business, and this is one way that they can be. I think that it would be an easier lift to make this a category 1 course, since this is practice related as it meets government, right, in really establishing the roles of the various players. But again, the board is welcome to discuss that.
So what if the online participants, will they get the same credit hours?
We could, do you need the microphone? Oh, for Mr. Kim. Mr. Kim's question was, what about for people online? That would be something, if they would receive the same credit, that would be something that we can discuss or establish a limit. If it's a remote one, we could say, a reduced time for that fact. It's a new technology. I think that it might be easier to be able to, because some of these programs that we have listed here, they'll have directions in the regulation where you have to approach a staff member, provide your identification, and your license number, and they're, registering that you're there, and then a certificate would be issued after the fact, and we are collecting that information. So I think it's a bit harder when folks are online and doing that. Obviously, we have the name, but we don't know if they're paying attention or whatnot. And again, we're asking people to show up. We're not saying you can't close your eyes while you're at our meeting, but so it's like, of course, you could get away with it being in the board, but at least at the board meeting, you might step up for a public comment and provide us your perspective.
This is Gregory Leon. I'm a public board member. I was with other state agency before, and when we go to a meeting, we do get credit. Usually it's 2 CE credits, and you have to participate in the whole sessions. That means you cannot just come in and leave. And if you're on the internet, you have to keep your internet on all the time. And then once in a while, you show your face on the video. And at the end of this section, you have to submit a survey indicated that you have participated, and then you can earn your 2 CE units. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. This is Amy Mateki, and I think thanks to the staff for go to find the other board what they have done and provided. I think from the past with the board meeting, there's enforcement cases, and I believe there was a new graduate, and they made a comment, and they really enjoyed, to learn all those cases. I think this is for the board staff, decided to take the steps to look at it. We still see currently there's many of the disciplinary we need to do, but so many times they didn't learn that in the schools. So I think come to the board meeting, this is very pertinent. How many hours it goes, that depends. Like yesterday, everybody was participated 8 hours, right? Roughly, It's very intense work. I think, definitely if it's other board can do it, and why not us, see the participation, how many work we can accomplish together. As licensees, I fully support that, That's where I'm appreciated the public board member stepping in to support. But I think we can work together how many hours. It's not fair. Tomorrow, yesterday is the work hours. You give it 2 hours. That's not fair. I just want to put it on the table, right? But what is the fair hours? That's come to work together. I just want to put it there. I think it's very important. Sometimes we have those cases, judges is here, DA, and the AG is all in there. It's a great learning process. You don't get this. You see that in the movie, So if we can have this kind of opportunity provided for a new graduate, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a very good idea that we implement something like this at the end to ensure that they're paying attention. A test will be good. Yes, to get your credit that has been, and it's a great way to learn more about the regulations and stay on top of it. I think that will help. That will help on preventing, or save the work and not taking away licenses. Very important. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I just had an idea about because recently acupuncture profession committee is dealing with dry needling with the legislatures and all other things, but ironically, few of the associations are actually today. I don't see any representative from association. Oh, okay. Sorry. There's one, only one. Oh, and then there's another. But when we are dealing with legislature, we have to have a collective understanding on the same page, and then come up with an action plan. But they don't hardly participate. They just call themselves a association. So maybe we can put a clause saying any of those associations maybe mandatorily to come here to get their recognition. Otherwise, they are in different pages or they don't even care. Then you can just drop them out of the association list because they are not representing the profession correctly, right?
We are talking about CE.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other comments, board members, on this? Questions?
I just a technical question. So how to give them the certificate, the CE certificate, like that increase about the staff the work, right?
Indeed. Yeah, no, we haven't done the analyses on like what it would take because we don't know what the board is interested in providing. So what we're doing here is just providing options that are being used in other programs. And, whether as Dr. Mateki requested that you get the full 8 hours per meeting, or if we do partials as some of these other boards have done for attending a full board meeting, it's up to the board to set up. One comment just about Member Osorio, while I would love to come up with a test after every board meeting, that might be even more time consuming, but a survey, as Member Leong provided, may be a bit more facile there.
So if not answer question, then maybe, on site, no problem. We face to face, but online, we don't know if come in 9:30, but maybe come out 4:30 or come out left at 10:30. So if we maybe in the association Zoom meeting for continuing education, we'll give like a picture with the time, with the license, with the time, with the name. So they have to put a real name and the license number. So it's also good for the responsibility, what they say, right? We know from licensee or from whoever. So have credibility, and they take picture from beginning or middle or like from starting to finish in the morning. Or when we have a roll call and then we adjourn the meeting, they give themselves like a picture, so can send picture to you. And that's one way. They don't need to do because we have to every time we have to design the. Oh, but they have to fill the evaluation, right? For the CE. So they fill evaluation. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
May I? Okay. Yeah, I think this is a very good suggestion. I just thinking how we do it distantly with the C continuing medical education course. And at the end, we fill the survey. Because of the part we want to encourage everyone participate, and we do want fully trust, they put the effort to sit in. That means in person, everybody's here, but it's online. I think everyone should do the survey. I would say then you obtain your CE credit. That's how we do it. Even 3 questions, but this is the way put the trust in the professionals, and also encourage them to participate. But I would recommend it in a way as a board member, I would say direct the EO and the staff, to look into it as a practical, and do we need to make a motion, or this is just the briefing introduction? I would, I think look like a public, or professionals actually want this. So maybe we can make certain kind of the motion, direct the EO and the staff, to see what's the practical feasibility.
I would suggest that if the board members have a model program that they would like us to look at, then we can go in and speak directly with that program and ask them how they run their process, right? Or what we can do is agendize this for the next meeting, so that way we have a better idea of what the board members are looking for. Select top 3 that you want us to look at, at the next meeting. Then we'll go and look at those programs, can give you a better estimate of what they do, what it would cost us to do that. Would we need another position? Do we need to have another staff member present? That kind of thing.
We'll defer to the president and the legal.
So I like to. I can see this Christine brother. You have done a lot of work to make this document. I'm very impressed. You did research on the 6th other board. So I think if board member we vote today, and I think it's time just get things done. So next meeting we have one less item. That's one option. So if I want to listen to you, so how ready the staff going to do this, implement this?
I mean, I think collectively you have to think about your priorities and what you want. You already discussed like a tracking mechanism, a way that we would record that they have attended. You'd want to keep in mind, is this, because I'm the first or Board of Psychology, they have a documentation compliance that they'll keep record of it. But it indicates that they have to say their time of arrival and that they do the sign in and out sheet. Well, that is sort of only for if you're attending in person. So you want to keep in mind that people are attending online as well. So, so there's that aspect. You talked about the petition hearings, that's really helpful. And I was going to say for Francisco, about the ethics, I know a lot of times that relates to that subject matter. So, I mean, the Board of Chiropractic Examiners, they specifically say that you can attend, or excuse me, earn CE when there's a petition hearing at a board meeting. So you can get that specific if you guys would want to have it relate to the subject of ethics, possibly. So I think it's looking at the different elements and prioritizing, like check, check, check. We want our regulation to address these items. And I also wanted to say that currently we don't actively collect CE certificates from each licensee. We're just going to do that if they're audited. So that shouldn't be any more workload for us to, on an active basis, collect certificates from people attending board meetings or anything like that. And then the other consideration is specifying CE. Do we want to give CE for like committee meeting attendance as well? So just different things to kind of keep in mind and that you guys can all agree upon, I guess. Yeah.
Actually, as a professional board member, I would think this is very good opportunity for board to get a real-time survey from the participants. For say we want to get some updates on CNT guidelines, then they can pitch in rather than we depend on certain subject matter experts or board members' experience. So, and then also I noticed that since the ethics regulation, those CE requirements affected, I noticed a lot of those so-called ethics experts are just preaching on how to avoid the audits from the insurance billing and all these kinds. So there are little just distortion in that. So maybe this is a real opportunity for the board to give them a real time, the real case scenario on how we should act and think like professional and ethically.
So, yeah, I just wanted to say I would support President Chen's, kind of like maybe work with the EO, Mr. Baudier and the staff, Ms. Brothers. I think, everyone spent so much time coming each board meeting. If we can get some result, move forward, not just, I think a survey is great. Member Kim, you want to, sometimes it's a delay the process. Not like, I need to get that done next session, but I think at least get some concrete work, as you mentioned, the tracking system, how you document, and about if you join the hearings, the CE credit for ethics. I think this is all very good suggestions. You guys have been done a lot of work. So I support whatever, Madam President, your decision is. I think the sooner is better.
I just want to make sure that staff is getting all the information they need at this point. Is there any specific points that you will need from the board before the end of today to move forward?
Yes. I mean, I'm hearing all of the things that you guys are putting out there. So possibly based on some of the framework here and what you guys are discussing, we could draft something, but we probably need a motion, not here now, but going back to the board and drafting something for a later meeting or maybe even a committee meeting.
So I think that a simple way forward is for the board to say, I like this on the menu, and maybe I'll put this one on the menu too. And then we can go and talk to those programs, see what they're using, come back. Because ultimately, like, I'm hearing like, yeah, we want this. And that's great, right? We want to do this. I'm hearing we want this to happen soon. We're talking about regulation here. Okay, so we've got 5 regs already on the table that we're working on, including disciplinary guidelines. So I'm trying to let you know it's not going to happen fast, but we're going to make it happen if the board wishes that to happen. And it sounds like we've got a lot of public support, so we shouldn't have too many issues there either. But as you saw from all these regulations, there are many options here. Additionally, there are other options outside of just board meetings. So what you could do is short and sweet, right? And just this credit, or you can look at, let's have a CE credit for licensees for other scenarios too. We don't have to. Right now, it's just about CE credit for attending. But, maybe Madam Brothers has already said that psychology is a good model or one that she likes. So I would like to hear from the board, like, I like that model, or I would like to limit the board to 2, perhaps 3 of these programs, or you can suggest blending a few of these. But a bit more specification on what we should be working on, being that we have such a long list of regulations already that we're working on. If the board wants us to research 6 different programs and everything they do, we can, but that does take staff time and staff time away from what we're currently working on. So yeah, a little direction will be very helpful.
I'm going to take that offer after the EO. I think what you said, this is really clear. I think psychology, for me, I look at the psychology board actually looks, this is not, pharmacy. Okay, you see, this is where the part I want. Okay, so, pharmacy. Okay, let's do that. So I vote for pharmacy.
Yeah, I think the pharmacy, the one is more reasonable, and I like your research suggestion, because they also including the committee meeting, and it's up to maximum. It's not that we have to give. So each meeting depends on how many hours, so we can make decision. Yeah, I go for the pharmacy.
So are you making?
Uh,
Sorry, just so that the WebEx folks in here, are you making a motion, or are you recommending to the board so that someone else can make a motion? Is there a motion on the table? Can you please state your motion?
1 second. Does the board want to make a motion at this point? Does staff need a motion at this point? Or does the board want to just give direction to staff to come back
Yeah.
with a more concrete regulation?
Like, maybe we can come back with better details of what the pharmacy board does in this situation and how much staff and time it costs them to operate this regulation.
I'd like to make a motion.
That is clear. Please
With
state the
the
motion.
Board of the pharmacy, so for board president and EO work with the staff, direct the staff, and I like to move the board of the pharmacy CE credit. Do I make that a motion now?
Can you just give me 1 second? I'll help craft something up. Just gonna take 1 minute, guys. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so this is tentative, but it would be, I move to direct staff to work to develop a CE regulation regarding attendance at board meetings and asks that staff model the regulation off the Board of Pharmacy's existing regulation. Does that seem to work for both staff, EO, board members? Do you need maybe some more leeway in case you end up needing to adjust things?
I would need a little bit more leeway. Are we looking for both D and E of the Board of Pharmacy's language? Also, Board of Pharmacy doesn't specify that an hour of attendance is equal to an hour of credit. It just says a maximum of 6 hours of continuing education per renewal period. So
let's see. Why don't we maybe use Board of Pharmacies as a starting point and make adjustments as needed. Great. Give me 1 second. I'll write that up and state it so someone can say it.
That's exactly, you take my word.
You second.
Okay.
So this would be it. I move to direct staff to work to develop a CE regulation regarding attendance at board meetings using the Board of Pharmacy's regulation as a starting point, but authorize staff to make adjustments as it sees fits. Does that provide enough leeway for everyone at this point?
Good.
So
Motion.
Second.
I can be second, yes.
Why don't we? Dr. Mataki, would you mind just retracting your previous motion?
Yes, I retract. Member now.
Hold on, and I'll read it. So I move to direct staff to work to develop a CE regulation regarding attendance at board meetings using the Board of Pharmacy's regulation as a starting point, but authorize staff to make adjustments as it sees fit.
I motion.
I second.
Thank you, Mr. Liang and Dr. Mataki. Board member comments? No?
But like we.
Give them to the, yeah. Okay, no, you already said something. All right. Okay, so public comments from the room first.
Random audience member making a comment. Yeah, so the Board of Pharmacy was 6 hours, but we're not locked into 6 hours, and it was per cycle. So that would be per 2-year cycle. So if it's 6, it might be, if you could do 2 1 year and 2 the next year. But I think it's a great suggestion. I think it will bring people regionally the opportunity to come to a meeting. So like the next meeting is Southern California, perhaps, maybe near Yosan. So Yosan could do a big promotion of their students and other schools in Southern California. So you'd be getting students enrolled, you'd be getting the school enrolled. And at the next meeting, that would be someplace else, those same people might be getting involved, and you might hear from them on the WebEx, or they might be getting more involved. So I think it creates a wonderful opportunity. And in another field of mine, when they had something similar to this, where you got credit for showing up at a meeting, you had to come to the meeting, you had to sign in, you had to sign out at lunch, you had to sign in, you had to sign out. And it says right on there, under penalty of perjury, you have done this legally. So that sort of takes, I'm not a legal person and I'm not allowed to ask the lawyer questions, but just putting it out there that it's not that complicated. And I'm really, really glad that this board did not say, and that we're moving this forward, and maybe by the end of the year, we'll have a decision that we could really up this. So I think this was really a good move on the agenda, and I think you guys did a great job handling it. And again, to Christine.
Hello again. Andy here. Well, first of all, I look at there are 3 online right now, right? Is that correct? Reading 3 online? No? How many online?
This is the moderator. We've got 14 online, 3 who want to comment.
Oh, okay. Oh, 3 to make comment. Okay, so my apologies for cutting in line. Okay, 14 plus, we have about 7 here, so 21 out of, I believe, Ben, correct me, 10,000 acupuncturists licensed, 13,000. 13,000 plus. So if my math is correct, we are less than 1,000, right? Less than 0.1% attending. So as a fellow, acupuncturist, I'm ashamed, that we are not actively participating. We should be, right? I mean, look at Christine, how much time she put in, right? Already, look at the work she put in. Look at all the board members, how many hours they put in, and yet we, the beneficiary, are not here. So, I want to thank Christine and the board considering this. Actually, I will probably go one step further. Well, not a motion. It should be mandatory. During the 2-year period, you must attend at least once the board meeting, right? Because the beneficiary should know what the board is doing, right? Because they are the beneficiary, right? So, and the second comment is it's just to help out the staff because Christine did so much work already. The board may want to consider, how about just use your partner, NCCAOM, to manage all the licensing, issuing, the tracking, looking at who's online, who's signing, because NCCAOM already have this procedure, process, computerization all in place. All the practitioner, all we have to do is sign up with NCCAOM. They will publicize there's a board meeting. Okay, what is your ID number? What is your NCCAOM number? And they will do all the logistics to save Christine the work. Okay, just a suggestion again. So thank you again for listening to me.
Julie Rose, acupuncturist. I took PCOM's 96-hour, 96-unit base course a few years ago, and they had a system in place that I think that you could tap easily. PCOM San Diego, but it was an online course. It's Zoom. You sign in the chat when you arrive. You're not allowed to be absent. Your face has to be on your face has to be on the screen, on your little screen. And at the end of the day, you sign out, and they use that for attendance, and you cannot miss. You don't leave to use the restroom. There's a break, and they have that figured out. So you could also tap PCOM and figure out how they do it, but they do use Zoom, not WebEx.
More public comments here in the room? Okay. Let's open public comments online. Thank you, Dr. Moderator David.
Absolutely. We are open for public comment on the continuing education discussion and the motion. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. And our first request is coming from Farshid Namen. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam President. So I have one question, maybe I missed it. Sorry if I missed it. So I wonder if this one will be considered as a category 1 or category 2 for continuing education. This is my question, and I have another one comment too. And this is about, because it was a discussion from one of the board members, is about, so we need to make it mandatory for all the association to be here. I think that maybe it is not a great idea to penalize, associations. So it is great of the associations as attending, but basically I think we cannot penalize associations not to attend. And I think that this is a great idea to have a continuing education. So because the board meeting has so much things to educate the acupuncturists, including increasing awareness, developing their knowledge about their profession, encouraging ethical responsibility, and building practical and professional skills. So this is a great idea. I really love it. So, and thank you for the opportunity.
Before we move forward with the next comment, just a reminder to the public, the comments are regarding this specific motion, not this agenda item, but thank you.
All right, next we're going to hear from Mr. DeLuca at townsendpa.com. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Thank you so much to the board. This is Nicolo DeLuca on behalf of the California Acupuncture Coalition. Just want to express our comments that the CAC supports the proposal to offer continuing education credit to licensees attending board meetings. And thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And we had a couple more hands up that have gone down. If you want to check real quick to make sure that if you want to get back in line, please raise those hands. We're going to take a few more seconds. All right. Next, we're going to be calling on Chad. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone. All right, we're going to try Chad again. Hold on, please. We're sending you a second request to unmute your microphone. Chad, this is the moderator. I've opened the chat. If you want to say something real quick about your question, if you can do it in a few words, or at least tell me the problem that you're having.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I just took some time to come over here. Okay, good. Hello, my name is Mick or Chad. I'm a veteran, and the reason I'm here is to tell very quickly a story about acupuncture and how it's helped me and why I have a particular
I'm sorry, we're going to
position.
stop this comment. Nick, Chad, we appreciate
Yeah.
your comment, and you can leave it for public comments not on the agenda, but this specific public comment session is to address the motion on the floor, which is to move forward with
Oh,
creating
that's what I thought. That's why I lowered my hand. Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
All right, and that was our last request for public comment on this topic.
Thank you, David.
Wait, I take that back. Hold on. Lin Yang, we're going to send you a request to unmute your microphone.
Hello, Lin Yang from AACMA. I jumped at the motion to grant the CEU credits for attending the board meetings, and I think it will definitely drive the interest of attending the board meeting. And I have to make a confess that this is the well, yesterday was the first time that I attended the board meeting, and today is the second time. And I've been practicing acupuncture for over 10 years. The reason was I didn't think it was so related to me, or so I applaud that effort. And I further like to suggest that the board reach out to the acupuncture schools, because I know that at least for doctoral program, they have a requirement of called the professional development. So if the students can attend a board meeting, they can get a credit for something or some aspect. And I think that will really educate our acupuncture students to be aware of everything that matters to the development of the profession. And also it will be a great opportunity for them to learn how to practice this medicine responsibly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that was our last request for public comment on this agenda item.
And just as a point of clarification, this is a request to initiate a regulatory package. So no one present will be getting credit today. No, I'm so sorry. Until this regulation is passed. So please bear with us as we move through this. Thank you. All right.
Okay, so let's make a call.
Roll call. On the motion on the table. Dr. Yang-Ping Chen,
Yes.
Francisco Kim,
Yes.
Gregory Leung,
Yes.
Shudong Li,
Yes.
Dr. Amy Mateki,
Yes.
Ruben Asario.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item.
Who I do, which one? Oh, okay.
And now that the motion has been made and voted on and passed, we will be returning back to this specific agenda item. And since there's no additional comments from the board, we will open it up to public comment again, specifically on creating CEs. So if you have an additional comment in the audience. Sorry, we can't hear you.
We're not there yet. It's Julie Rose. I just am wondering which category this would fit in and whether it's ethics.
So, Ms. Rose, the regulations so far fully isn't in development yet. At this point, the board has just authorized staff to initiate the process.
Yeah.
If you do want to comment that should be in a specific category, go ahead and say that right now.
I think it should be in the ethics category. It really helps people recognize how to behave, how to practice, what's okay, what isn't. It makes it much more clear. Thank you.
Walking in here today, I felt a great union with my brothers and sisters in this profession. Like many of you, I've done it a very long time, and we've had struggles. We've had struggles, but we have a wonderful medicine. The world needs us now more than ever. And by bringing people into the board meeting and letting them participate, letting their hearts and their minds and their original ideas come forward, we need this, especially now. So that's my 38 cents worth.
Question. Can I ask the gentleman to identify yourself?
Gentleman is not required to, but can if he wishes to.
It's okay. The FBI stopped looking for me last week. I'm Peter Fairfield, license 1278. I've been practicing somewhere between 47, 48 years. I forget when they licensed me. I still love it, and I still study. It's still meaningful to me. What's your name?
Okay, any more comments? We don't require you come here, get a CE, you have to say something, right?
We didn't say that, but we can add that later. Mr. Good WebEx.
Okay, so let's go to WebEx. Moderator, please.
All right.
Reminder.
Just a reminder, this is just on the discussion possible action regarding creating a regulation offering CE credit. For anything not related to this, please save it for public comment for items not on the agenda. Thank you.
You heard the man. We're open for public comment on all of agenda item 9. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise that hand by tapping the hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. As a reminder to our mobile device users, you may need to hit the ellipses button, that's the ... in order to find your hand. We're going to take just a few more seconds to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request, do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, please. Thank you. Next item, Madam President, is discussion and possible action to reconsider previously approved text to authorize the initiation of a new rulemaking and to adopt new amendments to Section 1399.451 in Title 16 of the California Code of Regulations for hand hygiene requirements. Madam Brothers.
Thank you. So this is an older regulatory package. And just to give a little bit of history, I'll go through the background. The board first reviewed this topic of hand hygiene at the February 14th, 2014 board meeting. At that time, staff noted that the Centers for Disease Control and the California Department of Public Health had issued hand hygiene guidelines to reduce healthcare associated infections that support the use of alcohol-based hand sanitizer over traditional hand washing when hands are not visibly soiled. The board's current regulation on hand hygiene contradicts this recommendation and currently does not address the use of alcohol-based hand sanitizers at all. Additionally, the board requires that students complete clean needle technique coursework and use the Council of Colleges of Acupuncture and Herbal Medicine's Clean Needle Technique Manual as its primary reference, and the manual's guidelines appear to be consistent with CDC's recommendations. Staff last brought proposed regulatory language for discussion at the October 2018 board meeting, where the board agreed to proceed with the previously approved proposed regulatory text. In 2021, the proposed language previously adopted by the board was submitted to the regulation unit, to which there were substantial edits pointing to areas that required alignment with updated CDC guidelines and clarity issues. Since this time, staff has worked with the regulation unit on a few draft versions of proposed language. The amendments align with CDC and CDPH guidelines, and today we're bringing you the new proposed language for discussion and review. So the proposed language that follows the memo, you can see that there, and the amendments are in underline, and deletions are in strike through. And then the page behind that is a reference material that we used in developing the proposed language and the revisions from CDC. So the proposed language provides the following. It updates the method of hand washing to align with CDC and CDPH guidelines. It adds protocol to use an alcohol-based hand rub when hands are not visibly soiled or contaminated. It specifies alcohol concentration be at least 60% when using an alcohol-based hand rub. Provides the option to use an alcohol-based hand rub as an alternative to soap and water, and requires the alcohol-based hand rub be used according to the manufacturer's instructions. So our recommendation today is that the board adopt these new proposed amendments to Section 1399.451, which is the board's treatment procedures. And of course, if there's any discussion, this would be the time.
Board members? This is a much more simplified version than what we had previously worked on, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
I'd like to make a motion.
I second.
For the members, there's two motions suggested in your packet. May I ask that you either have Ben read off which one we're making?
Yeah, option 2, motion to approve as amended.
Oh,
there was no. Yeah.
It'd be number 1. We're not making any amendments.
Yeah, so it's
against that.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Option 1, move. Like to make a motion to move to approve.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and read it off. Yeah, the motion is for the board to rescind prior proposed text approved on February 14th, 2014 and October 25th, 2018, and approve the newly proposed regulatory language and changes to Division 13.7, Article 5, Section 1399.451, as provided in the materials, And direct staff to submit the text to the Director of the Department of Consumer Affairs and the Business Consumer Services and Housing Agency for review. If no adverse comments are received, authorize the executive officer to take all steps necessary to initiate the rulemaking process, make any non-substantive changes to the package, and set the matter for hearing if requested. If no adverse comments are received during the 45-day comment period and no hearing is requested, authorize the executive officer to take all steps necessary to complete the rulemaking and amend Section 1399.451 of Article 5 of Division 13.7 of Title 16 of the California Code of Regulations as noticed. We have a motion on the floor.
I will second that.
We have a second motion on the floor by Vice President Kim, seconded by Member Osorio. We have open to comments from the members. I think the members are in agreement here. Opening the floor to the public.
Still Peter Fairfield. I'd like a point of clarification. So this requires alcohol or doesn't require alcohol?
It does require. Yeah.
Allow, because if you really think about it, alcohol is a carcinogenic substance. And it takes, if the science says you need a 3-minute betadine scrub to actually make a difference with alcohol on skin. Alcohol doesn't work. It's ceremonial. That's really the science, if you look at the science. So are we demanding a ceremonial wash, or could we use another kind of alcohol? It just seems not good science to me.
So may I?
The language just says an alcohol concentration of 60%. I don't believe isopropyl versus ethanol is specified here, although the study that the CDC issued did use both in their testing. I'm not quite sure what additional solutions you would be referring to, but this is what our research yielded.
I just also want to add that it does state if hands are not visibly soiled or contaminated, then you can use an alcohol-based hand rub, otherwise hand washing.
Almost none of the older practitioners that I know use alcohol. Some of them will use vodka because they don't want to inflict the carcinogenic influence of the isopropyl. Anything with the syllable prop is carcinogenic. And so it just sounds like there's a gap between reality and this. And I know as a board, that's a common problem. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. So thanks.
President, may I? Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to say it's over here, use the alcohol is only if the hand very visible soiled. And also I think this is followed with the CDC guideline and also the CDHP, CDPH guideline. So this is aligned with what we do in the hospital. Thank you.
Back to the public.
Random public member. I have, it really is an individual thing. I have patients who say, I really don't want to use alcohol on me. And I wash my hands after every single patient. It was just how I was taught at school. And there are patients who absolutely want to make sure that you use alcohol. Like they've said, you didn't use alcohol on my leg. And I go, oh, I did. I counted 7 points and I hit 7 spots. But there are people who want it and there are people who don't want it. And Peter mentioned vodka, and I saw a few people raise their eyes. There was a case where somebody was doing a home visit and they didn't have any alcohol, and they used 101 proof vodka. And the two people had a personal fight at another time. And this patient, ex-friend, reported him to the board for using vodka. And they had a meet. It was a closed session meeting and blah blah blah. But the results of that was that he had clean hands and he was using vodka and it was okay. He didn't wasn't suspended, didn't lose his license or anything. So there are case history of using vodka that had gone through the process through the board based on a complaint. I just want to bring that out to the public.
I believe the paper calls for 60% solution, so that would mean 120 proof.
Mind if I chime in real quick? I have just one statement. The regulation allows you to thoroughly wash your hands with soap and water, covering the surface of your hands for no less than 20 seconds. So you could use hand washing if you didn't want to use alcohol and meet the regulation.
I don't like workarounds. I like doing things directly and making sure that that it won't backfire administratively or any other way. A couple of years ago, I was using alcohol on my hands a lot and it wrecked my hands. So there are people that are really sensitive to it. And I think that there ought to be some kind of exclusion or comment clause about it so that people who really can't handle it don't have to. There are other ways. We can certainly wash our hands all day, but it's a big difference from using alcohol on your hands all day.
That's that's
I
where
don't know,
we
I'd have to look into it.
no, that's where we use gloves. Yeah. So the hands, when we do the alcohol swab in the hospital, we use the gloves.
Yeah.
Yes, I hear you.
So I think it's important to include alternatives, including gloves, in the written language, just so that people know that there are other ways. So they don't think they're going to get in trouble if somebody has it in for you or something. Gloves are fine. So washing your hands is fine, but just the emphasis on the alcohol, in addition to whether it's carcinogenic, also is like really drying for the hands. Thank you.
I think this is a good how good this board meeting can educate, for all the public and also the profession, because this is the regulation that we have to come up with a regulation to protect the public health and aligning with other health professionals guidelines. So this is what we are just trying to establish, but at your own decision. Of course, the regulation is here. So if that patient report, then you have to get the consequences. But this is what we are trying to do here. So you have to get the idea how things are done here, and remember that we have this regulation. Yeah.
Yeah, Philip Young from California University, Silicon Valley. I think this regulation that it's safe because follow the CDC requirement, and this provide the range for your different options. You can, like right now we use the alcohol professional alcohol 70%. This to us is very, very good. Once we can clean the field, once it's very quickly can vapor. But I do have some patients, they clearly say, I don't need alcohol. Once the patient says this, oh, okay, we don't need alcohol. But we need to guarantee we don't get a disinfection to avoid the infection. If someone uses them like a vodka, but vodka have to be 60% above. So if you do 40%, that's not right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, no more comments from the room. So let's open comments from online. David, please.
We are open for public comment via WebEx on the motion. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. I've seen a couple hands bounce up and down. It's time to make sure that they're actually up if you want to make a comment. We're going to take a few more seconds to see if we have a request for public comment. All right, seeing no request for public comment, do you wish to continue with the motion?
Yes, please. Let's go to roll call vote.
President Yang Ping Chen,
Yes.
Vice President Francisco Kim,
Yes.
Gregory Liang,
Yes.
Shudong Li,
Yes.
Dr. Amy Matecki,
Yes.
Ruben Osorio.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Excellent. We will now go. Any more comments from the board members on this item? All right, let's turn to the room for comments on this item, not the motion. Seeing none, let's turn to WebEx. Comments on this item, not the motion.
We are open for public comment on all of agenda item 10. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping the hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take a few more seconds to see if we have a request for public comment.
While we're waiting, Mr. Vong, it sounds like you've been silent, so everything is proceeding amicably with this regulation, yes? Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Seeing no request online, do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, please. Would next like to invite our panelists for the mental health acupuncture treatments for mental health. If you would please step forward, Dr. Bird and Mr. Nicholas. Apologies, remind me of your last name again, Mr. Nicholas.
Nicholas Hancock.
Thank you.
Of course. Welcome, distinguished board members and stakeholders. Again, I'm Nicholas Hancock. I'm a licensee, practitioner, educator in our field. I'm here with Dr. Bird, who's also an educator and a distinguished member in our community in Santa Cruz County. We are here to give a presentation on what is our experience of the very effective use of acupuncture to treat mental and emotional health disorders. We're both working and residing in Santa Cruz County. Also, Dr. Bird, I believe, works in Santa Clara County. Our experience at Five Branches University, another place of employment for us both, and in the community really shows a dramatic impact that our licensees have on what appears to be a mental and emotional healthcare crisis in our state and nationwide. Acupuncture, as we all know, is effective for a treatment of a variety of disorders, but this presentation is going to focus on mental and emotional health disorders. So we all know acupuncture as a minimally invasive procedure, a non-pharmacological treatment method. We all know it's low risk and safe. I provided some links to some studies at the bottom of this page if anyone's interested to follow up. It has a millennia of continuous use in its history. It integrates mind and body. It's patient-centered and holistic. Acupuncture is safe. Acupuncture is effective. Acupuncture, especially in the state of California, used by people whose scope of practice is as primary care providers, is really effectively used as part of a team, an integrative patient-centered care team to address, again, mental and emotional health disorders.
Thank you. And nice to be here, everyone. Thank you for having us. Okay, great. So this particular slide, maybe we need someone to page for us, to paginate online. Oh, super. Thank you. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you so much. This is just a few trends and statistics that you can readily find online relative to mental health. And as my colleague Dean Nick mentioned, some of the worsening trends that we see in society, inclusive of a rise in mental ailments, including severe mental health ailments. Interestingly enough, concurrent with that, we also see a rise in acupuncture to, am I talking too loud? It's okay? All right, I'm so used to projecting. Thank you, okay, great. Okay, super, so thank you. So concurrent with this rise in mental illness, we see, interestingly enough, a decrease in resources available for mental health. Kind of interesting. If we are paying attention to our industry, maybe it depends in part on the particular practitioner, the segment of society and their community that they're working with. But I do believe overall we see a corresponding rise in the number of cases where we use our medicine to treat mental health ailments. When I started the program at Santa Cruz County for acupuncture, my colleagues, it's a Western environment, my colleagues thought of what I could bring to the table as 95% pain related. Now, 4.5 years later, the referrals that I get from my colleagues, it's probably 30, 40-ish, edging towards 40% for mental health. I have people stop me in the hall, oh, Dr. Bird, my patient loves you. They feel so much better. Their anxiety is better. So I get consistently this report among the patients at Santa Cruz County anyway. Sure, it's a certain population segment. So treating low income, in Watsonville, we're treating a large number of Latinos. Then in Santa Cruz, we're also including homeless population as well, but it's nevertheless a diverse community. And it's interesting to see the rise of what we're doing for mental health. So mainly this is a point on trends, okay? So next slide, sorry. Thank you, Nick. All right, so here's just a few more statistics. I'm not going to read every word, but you can see the rise in, I tried to bold it, second bullet under NAMI, serious mental illness. If you check in with NAMI relative to, okay, I'd like to refer a patient out, find some resources for this patient, and you're digging. Actually, there aren't that many resources. I've literally run around Santa Cruz County looking for Spanish-speaking counselors, et cetera. It's really interesting to see the lack of resources. So even though we have these different organizations showing increasing mental health issues, at the same time, conversely, we have a decrease in resources available, which is why I like to highlight, my dear colleague asked me to contribute relative to what we do and every day in terms of mental health. And we certainly see it relative to dual diagnoses. Dual diagnoses can refer to substance abuse along with mental health. Certainly we see that at HPHP, Homeless Person Health Project in Santa Cruz, such a fabulous little clinic. And then we see the idea of overlapping conditions inclusive of pain and mental health. So I feel like our medicine shines, and it's certainly the feedback I see at the county, the continued support for our program. So next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, then I think Nick has more detailed slides here. Very briefly, the point on this one is patient-centeredness. So often I think, no doubt, you are more than aware yourselves. We often serve as patient advocates, and I wouldn't call us necessarily, I know there's different viewpoints, a primary provider, because in the infrastructure we work within, there's usually a primary care provider. But of course, one can have differing viewpoints. no surprise. So that's all good. But nevertheless, we often can advocate for our patients to reach out and add in referrals, keep in contact with the primary provider, as well as increased communication. So these are the trends I've seen within at least my sphere where I'm working within. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, so maybe then you take the rest up to this one, okay? Or if you want to
Oh, no,
add.
you should talk about HPHP.
Okay, sure. So HPHP, such a lovely little clinic. Everyone who is there wants to be there, like so many of yourselves. We want to make a difference with our patients. And so I started volunteering quite a number of years ago within HPHP. I wrote a couple proposals for bringing acupuncture online with the county, and one of the managers got it going with a grant. We moved quickly in year 0 from grant-based to revenue-based. We're FQHC, which is a federally qualified health center. So it's basically revenue for the county. They're super happy with our modality. Our colleagues are happy. So let me see here. What else do I want to say about them? I think that's enough. Then you continue.
Also provide on-site training for students.
Oh, yeah.
Right, it's an externship.
Okay. So, all right. So we have an MOU, so Memorandum of Understanding with 5 branches. So I help facilitate that between the clinic head at the county, as well as 5 branches, Ron Seidman, Joanna Dow, and now working closely with wonderful Dean Nick here. And so we have a memorandum of understanding, which allows me to borrow some students in an externship to basically extend acupuncture at the county. Students love it. They learn a lot of real-time environment medicine and dealing with certain populations. And we will, I hope, continue to extend our MOU. So basically, it lets me extend resources at the county without additional outlay, which the county cares about when we look at cost-benefit analysis. But at the same time, we promote our reach with the university, and we promote understanding within our student population of working with certain diverse communities. So that's my message for today. Okay, next slide, and then please take.
Thanks, Dr. Bird. Yeah, the reason that I encourage Dr. Bird to emphasize that training opportunity for our students is to make the point that this capacity to treat mental and emotional health disorders is being continued and furthered through that kind of training. It's something that, if the board can find a way to get behind and we can figure out a way to advocate continually, it's something that can really grow, and it seems to be really needed. Obviously, not only in Santa Cruz County, not only in Santa Clara County, but statewide, nationwide, worldwide right now. So we have these other programs that I wanted to highlight just again in our local areas. We have Santa Cruz Community Health Clinic, which is a health center, also with multiple locations throughout Santa Cruz County, providing high quality, affordable healthcare services, includes acupuncture. It's supported by Health Resources and Services Administration, so it's also backed, has had a huge impact in our community. They also have a thriving women's center and a numerous variety of other centers, many of which include acupuncture in their treatments. There's also Janus of Santa Cruz, which is a center for the treatment of substance use and abuse disorders, actually shares the same building as 5 Branches University. We have a really close working relationship with there. Another on-site training, well, actually it's off-site, but because it's in the same building, our students just walk next door. Opportunity for our students to work with underserved populations, low income, populations that really need a lot of attention and care at this time. You can see the resources I provide on the slides if you want to go to their websites to get more information about what they're doing in our communities. There's also MHCAN. MHCAN is really...
Next slide.
Oh, next slide, please. Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you. There's also MHCAN of Santa Cruz, the Mental Health Client Action Network. It's peer run, so that's really outstanding because it's volunteer based in many cases. They also include acupuncture as part of the treatments and services that they provide. MHCAN is really close to my heart because it's something that's been in operation for decades and decades now, and that our university's had close affiliation with. Again, many of our faculty members were influenced by some of the treatments that happened in the early 2000s with our opportunity to collaborate with them, build referral networks, provide training to our students, and really demonstrate the efficacy of acupuncture in this context. Of course, on site at Five Branches University. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. On site at Five Branches University, we also provide treatment since about 2008, focusing on mental and emotional health disorders. Currently, the clinic there at our university is doing about 80% of its patient visits through Medi-Cal benefits. So that includes not only individuals with mental and emotional health disorders, but a wide portion of underserved community. Again, just kind of demonstrating the critical role that acupuncturists are playing to fill a gap in the current healthcare system. Just wanted to mention that really quickly.
Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, just very briefly wanted to just show some of the programs that we have at Five Branches. It's really just let's remind ourselves what we offer, what we all have available, so that we can extend and grow our understanding of mental health related issues. I will say though, kind of important in here, and I didn't call it out, Nick, on this slide, but I think actually important to keep in mind when dealing with mental health issues is, I will say, working closely with patient care team and psychiatry, as well as referring out to counseling and understanding herb-drug interaction. And I don't just mean at a high level, oh, this formula is fine to take concurrently with another. One has to look at a deeper level at some of the individual herbs and also check patient other condition. Relative to safety, like a HIV patient who has high anxiety is taking Biktarvy, for example, which has a significant warning relative to both prescription medications, the SSRIs, serotonin reuptake inhibitors, as well as something like St. John's wort, which admittedly is not an SSRI, but still something to keep in mind. Okay, so just a really aspect to think about in terms of considerations when working with those people who have mental ailments. So next, okay, next slide, please. Okay, so a couple of quotes on the far right. So number one comment, walking into our rooms after we see our patients, oh, I'm so relaxed. How do you feel? I'm looking for the, oh, less pain or whatever else. Oh, I'm so relaxed. And actually consistently, I hear this 99% of the time, which is not overestimating. And one recent patient, schizophrenic, takes medication, has a psych team, has a counselor, loves the acupuncture, not that I see her that often. And she tells me the voices get quiet when she comes in. So there's a very tangible, definitive benefit with our medicine that I think as we educate our colleagues in other modalities in the Western world, that they can have a better feel for how we can assist. I'm not saying we take care of everything. What I'm saying is we can most readily be a part of the equation. So let me see what else. Anything there? Nope, I think that's pretty good. Next slide, please. Okay, so maybe too many slides in past 10 minutes here. Sorry about that. So, so anyway, this really carries on with the idea of acupuncture and Asian medicine, nutrition, dietary recommendations, herbal thoughts can be very synergistic while keeping in mind cautions, contraindications, etc. Such a beautiful thing. So we wanted to just kind of cover breath here when thinking about our modality with mental health. So I think,
It's the final slide.
yeah. Phew. Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you again, distinguished board members, stakeholders, for your time.
Say your name.
Oh, yes. Nicholas Hancock, practicing licensed acupuncturist, educator.
Dean of Clinical Program.
Very good instructor. Okay, so I'm Jacqueline Bird, or Jacqueline Van Dusen Bird, depending on how you look me up. And I'm licensed acupuncturist also, DAOM also. So I manage the program at Santa Cruz County Health Service Agency, HSA. It's a segment under public health. And then I teach at 5 branches a number of years now. I'm one of the associate professors. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much,
Can I say something?
Dean. Yeah.
Oh, can I say something?
Sure.
Okay, please. Okay. I know a veteran administration's commissioner worked together with some acupuncture practitioners. Took them a lot of work and a long time, and they finally get the VA hospital in San Francisco to provide acupunctures in treating PTSD, mental health, and substance abuse. And they are having very good responses. For PTSD, cause a lot of veterans to commit suicides. And substance abuse and acupuncture is another form to help them rather than just using drugs or locked down up in a room. Okay. I want to thank you for making this presentation.
Yes, I'd like to echo that. We are very grateful. Both of you turned to this right away when we reached out to you through President Chen, and we appreciate that you've put this together for us. This was a request of Member Leong, who would really had asked that we provide the public and our practitioners a window into how acupuncture is being used in mental health. And it is so encouraging to see that this is happening and that there's this integration not only between the practitioners, but the school and the county as well, and the community. So thank you again for your service.
Thank you. And, you know, it's really a 10-minute few slides presentation is a really short period of time to really qualify all that. But I think it is our experience, probably your experience, that it is a very safe and effective form of treatment when it's used in a care team setting. So it's something I think we all know already as well. Thank you.
So this 10 minutes is just the start. You throw the fire will grow bigger. I saw people in the room all smiling and claps. So that means it's very successful. Only even it's just 10 minutes, but means more than 10 minutes. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay, I just want to add it. May I? Okay, yeah, I just want to first thank you for present here to us. As a matter of fact, I think the model should be duplicated in every county, you know, because homeless and mental illness is a bigger cost, and it's a very important work you guys have done with the model successfully implemented for the FQHC site. So I just want to congratulate and thank you for the great work as the licensed acupuncture, doctor acupuncture, to implement it successfully doing that. Hope you guys can hire some graduate, so have a more acupuncturists spread out in many centers. That's all I just want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mataki. So I have a question to ask you. Why you provided the wonderful service? How do you get paid? The medical cover mental health? As we know,
it's a very
all the issues only usually just cover pain, all the pain related. But I do know in Boston, some other states in the East Coast, they cover even insomnia. The Aetna brochure cover insomnia, anxiety, depression, of course, all including a digestion issue, cover very extensive. But in California, we have not seen that yet. So in VA, yeah, Veteran Hospital, I'm VA community provider. I have a VA patient, a couple patient a day, and they have a lot of 90% of them have mental issues and PTSD. So they really appreciate it because they have a pain for many, many years. And the pain itself causes the mental health issue. So they just affect each other and the help. But we only claim for the pain related usually. But sometimes we provide doctor, they authorize PTSD, and they also authorize sometimes kidney failure or some other issue very occasionally. But I don't know how your practice in the homeless people place and the county health center. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, doctor. Okay, so let's see. I do happen to know this reasonably well, I'll admit, having my own clinic for a number of years and then setting this up for the county. So California Alliance for Health, and so obviously California Medi-Cal recipients, and we know there are, of course, different budget cuts coming along. So that has authorized acupuncture, I think Affordable Health Care Act, we saw it reintroduced for a while as addressing a little bit health disparity. Okay, so unequal access to health among different societal segments. Okay, so that was introduced. We did some research. I think Joanna and I were one of the research people in the different regions. They took our case studies showing acupuncture, right? So Alliance for Health covers not just for pain. Alliance for Health covers for multiple modalities. So probably my second most modality, or rather area of concern, is a mental health issue. So depression, anxiety, that type of thing, stress, like we see in the Latino community, for example, in Watsonville right now, the stress is very high, right? So stress, things like this you can bill for. Depends on the insurance company. I'm not a insurance guru, so there's many others who I'm sure better qualified than myself. Relative to veterans, though, I used to work with TRICARE when I had my own clinic, and so TRICARE will cover acupuncture under certain rigidly controlled circumstances, which is fine. I don't know about.
Sorry, TRICARE or TriWest?
I didn't say TriWest. Oh, did I say it wrong?
TriWest is
TriWest.
better.
TriWest.
Yes. TRICARE is for
Sounds so similar.
active
Yeah, yeah.
military. That
Right,
doesn't.
not active military, it's true. So TriWest, thank you, doctor, for the correction. So yeah, TriWest covers also, and of course, this is all based on primary referral, authorization, etc. The Blue Cross Blue Shield covers a little bit. Medicare covers low back pain only with primary MD review. I think everybody knows this pretty well. So there are avenues, of course, for mental health. However, I would say with efficacy and validity, one can put in more than one diagnosis code, and I frequently do to show the span of what I'm treating. So, so one can include a pain code in there and one should be paid for it then. I don't think that's an issue. As far as I can tell, it should be a non-issue. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay, do you have anything to add there?
No, I don't really have anything to add. You answered it very thoroughly.
Hi. I'm very impressed what you guys been doing, and I have a question. So, like you said, there was a budget cut for Medicaid acupuncture coverage, but have you been communicating or have you been submitting any concerns, data or report?
So relative to, oh, sorry. Oops. Okay, so thank you. Okay, so relative to Medi-Cal in California, Medicaid in other states, just to, okay, so so I've a little bit been involved with some activism, but please understand I'm mainly here with Five Branches, and as an individual today, I do not represent the county. They don't allow us to do so, although they are aware. Yes, I'm here today. Okay, so that aside, that disclaimer. So let's see here. Yes, we try to do advocacy because when one sees the difference one can make in communities that are disadvantaged and how really grateful they are for our medicine, the difference it makes. Anyway, I have seen many people with shrinking resources, less available, qualified resources, less monetary or fiscal allotment, et cetera, then this is actually a good opportunity for us to balance, shall we say, right? Perfect, right? For us to balance and bring that to the table. So I think education is important, and try to push the envelope a little bit within these different communities so that they are more aware rather than a status quo. So yes, our president here is quite correct that there is a lot of limitations on billing for a straight mental health condition. So something we should work on. But yes, it's something going on. So the June 9th amendment to the proposed governor's retracted acupuncture, you probably know that already. In terms of recommending it be just, I was mentioning to Dean Nick here, we should proactively get on that and see why that's popping on a year by year budget. But yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I think every time that we're successful in using our voices and demonstrating the impact in our communities, it moves the needle a little bit. So I was involved last year and then this year again in outreach and advocacy to maintain the Medi-Cal benefits. And I just want to say from my personal experience, you know, I feel it was very successful. Patients, students, practitioners, virtually every constituent of the state of California, you know, we and let them know how important it was if they were experiencing benefits from acupuncture and were using Medi-Cal to reach out to all their representatives. It was very successful. Yeah.
We'll go ahead and open it up to public comment if you don't mind staying there. And then Mr. Fairfield, I saw you had a comment. If you could please take the microphone from Dr. Bird.
I had requested to make a presentation both by email and a number of calls and never heard back. So I have a few minute conversation I'd like to present about this. Now a good time, or?
You have, this is public comment time, so we can reset the clock at this point to 3 minutes and you can provide something at that point.
I have more to say on that. I've done this for 50 years. This is the main thing of my practice. I requested from the board a week and a half ago. I never heard back.
Once the agenda is set, we cannot change the agenda. The agenda has to be set at least 10 days before the board meeting per the requirements, but we can work with you if you communicate sooner. I wasn't able to reach out to you.
And I'll speak really quickly.
Please.
I've been practicing a long time. I said that before. I founded a 4-year, 5,000-hour acupuncture program in 1980 with cadavers. I've been a tutorial provider. I've taught in 9 or 10 different states. I've taught in graduate programs and undergraduate programs and so forth. My main interest for my whole career is in mental health. I also spent many years in Asia studying using pulse diagnosis to study the physiology of lamas and addict and stuff to see really what the physiology of all the spiritual practices did and how that affected mental health. What the people are doing are fantastic, and it's a pathway that we need desperately. One of the darkest areas in mental health in America right now is psychiatry. It's run pretty much predominantly by the pharmaceutical industry, who is involved in most of the education of that part of the Western medical thing. And again, these drugs do not heal, and they placate. Chinese medicine, as you know, more than I can heal. So not only do we need programs like they have, but just the average practitioner just taking the pulse of somebody can begin to shift the mental health just by changing the balance of the heart meridian just by relaxing the liver. Just this is the real foundation of mental health. We don't want it to get this far. Our society takes that far. In the ancient texts, it would say there's chaos in the land, that the economy is down, there's fear of the people for the government, the weather has been this. That's the underlying condition of all the diseases. Well, we got that. We got that in spades. People are crazy, people are turning off, people are dumbed down. And just by balancing the heart meridian, just by, as you know, you can have a right left and balance of the heart and small intestine. 70–80% of my clients are protecting their emotional heart by having a right left and balance of the heart and small intestine meridian. Just by undoing that, they're going, just by doing that simple thing. So it's part of the acupuncture curriculum to begin to talk about that from day one, because it's the mental health. It's really the foundation of almost all diseases. As we resist our fear, our anxiety, our hurt, our pain, as you experience the momentum of our ancestors from the camps in Germany that comes up, you can still feel it on the pulse. There's so much that's right there. And just as we begin to treat people simply in the clinic,
30 seconds.
can we undo these things really quickly? So I have a lot more to say. I'd love to say it sometime. Please.
The president has afforded you an extra minute, 2 minutes. President.
And anyway,
2 minutes.
Western medicine, although they try hard, is a failing system, especially in mental health. And the acupuncture profession has had so many problems. Some of our major schools are going under right now, and not from a problem, but from the system. And so we need to develop specialties and refine specialties. Mental health is one. Cardiology is one. Cardiology is the best. They want to give you all these tests and put you on pacemakers, and really simple things can help in a great way. Our medicines for cardiology are so much more specific than anything the West. I'm going off here, but as a profession, we need to come up to a place where not only are we equal, but we're better than. The intelligence and wisdom of our disease process, of our diagnosis, we understand, is needed in this world now more than anything. And I think mental health is a primary foundation for that.
Thank you.
We've talked before in one of the protocols that they use in the county health system is the NADA protocol, National Acupuncture Detox Association protocol. And I trained in that in 1991 to 92 in the Bronx, taught by the people who developed the program, the protocol, before I came here to school. So I got 15 months of that first. And what Dr. Mike Smith used to say is, what you're treating is this big hole that people have inside them. And you're treating it 1 tablespoon, filling it 1 tablespoon of sand at a time with an acupuncture, with another protocol. And that's how we help people with their mental health issues with the NADA protocol, which is a 5-point protocol that promotes detoxification of the internal organs that hold toxins, kidneys, liver, and lungs, and also addresses 2 points that treat the spirit, including, well, one is Shenmen, that means spirit gate, and the other is the sympathetic nervous system, which is affected by drugs, trauma, stress. So we're filling this huge hole with 1 tablespoon of sand at a time, and that's treating the spirit. What I do in my practice with everyone is whatever symptom they bring me, I go to the spirit points on that channel, in that system. So I'm supporting the spirit through the symptom that they present. And this is what we do. And this is how we help people heal of the spirit without drugs, without, with very little except for alignment and addressing organ systems. So it's fantastic for the spirit.
Okay, any more comments from the room? So we open comments from online, please, David.
All right, we are open for public comment via WebEx on agenda item 11. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. Our first request is coming from Ron Zaidman. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
This is Ron Zaidman, and I'm here with our Dean, Joanna Zhao, who has something to share.
Hi, this is Joanna. I'm really excited today. The board led our faculties and also Dean and also the Dr. Bird to give the presentation. For acupuncturists, we treat the body, mind, spirit. So that is already said, like other doctors talk about. We treat anything, the spirit is important. So today we don't have too much time because Nick and Bud was going to present another one, which is we have another county, Santa Clara. We have Dr. Ding in Santa Clara also build up the mental disease treatment. And also with the Japanese society and some other society. So acupuncturists really can do a lot. Especially I will talk about mental disease can cause the society unsafe because they have mental problem. So acupuncturists really have to do this for our society. Thank you.
Thank you. And that was our only online request.
Thank you, David. So thank you so much for both of you come here or here. Let's go to next item.
Thank you, President Chen. Next item is board officer elections. We have 2 officer positions that we are looking to elect, the vice president and the president position. We'll start with the vice president, move on to the president. The way this works is we will take nominations.
Oh, the president is.
I'm sorry?
They're going to vote for.
No, it's too on.
No, it's fine.
Webcast, Mr. David, they're still live. Okay, I think we're good now. Thank you. So the way this works is all happens at the board level until we have motions on the floor. Then we open it up for public comment. We first start with the vice president position. I open it up for any board member that would like to make a nomination of themselves or someone else for vice president. And then we collect all those nominations, allow as many nominations as we want, and we can vote on that. And then we move on to the president and do the same thing. All right?
I have, I don't know if everybody agrees proposition.
Recommendation? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or nomination?
Yeah. Both the vice president and the president have been doing an excellent job. It takes more than a year to, in the past 2 years, the president was 2 years and it worked really good. I recommend both positions to remain if they would like to. I don't know if everybody agree with me.
We have a nomination for Francisco Kim as vice president and a nomination. Well, let's start there. Mr. Kim, Vice President Kim, the former Vice President Osorio has nominated you for Vice President again. Would you like to accept the nomination? Yes. Do we have any other nominations for Vice President? Seeing none on the floor, do we have a motion?
I second.
I will say if there is broad consensus, I'm fine just doing this as one vote just for efficiency purposes. So do you, member, sorry, would you want to withdraw your motion for just 1 second? Great.
Thank you both. There is another, now moving on to the president, we have a nomination on the floor from the former Vice President Osorio for President Chen to be president again. Do you accept the nomination?
I appreciate.
Well, then, do we have a motion to vote for Vice President Kim and President?
Where shall we go?
Oh, yeah. Was there a second nomination for president?
A second.
No,
second first.
But somewhere else.
anybody else? So it sounds like there's nobody else that's being suggested for president. Okay.
There's a deli at the end of the road.
There's a what? A deli at the end of the road. Okay. I think we have our webcast stakeholders still live, so I'm not sure if Mr. David can assist us here.
I'm here. Just give us an instruction.
Thank you.
Everyone, all audience members.
Or can we mute all? All, yeah, online attendees.
Sorry.
Okay.
Hey, David, can you just mute everyone attending online? Sorry about that. That was a confusing.
Thank you.
comment from
Me.
Ben.
Okay. We have nominations accepted. Is there a motion for Vice President Kim and President Chen to continue their services as officers in the present capacity? So moved.
Yes, I motion that we elect or re-elect both Vice President and President.
Kim and Chen, respectively.
I'll second.
With a second from Mr. Leon. Public comment. Starting here. Nothing from the, oh, wait, going once. We have thumbs up from the audience. Going twice, going to WebEx. Oh, Mr. Fairfield, if someone will be so kind as to give Mr. Fairfield a microphone, seeing as how our remote participants cannot hear you without that.
Neither of them made a face when they were nominated, so that's a very good sign.
Thank you. Let's turn to the WebEx participants. Any comments regarding the motion on the floor to re-elect Vice President Kim and President Chen to their current positions?
All right. WebEx is open for public comment on the motion. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take a few seconds to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request, you wish to continue with the motion?
Yes, please. Let's go ahead and do a roll call vote for the motion to re-elect our current officers to their current positions.
Dr. Yongping Chen.
Honor. Yes, my honor.
Francisco Kim.
Yes.
Gregory Young.
Yes.
Shu Dong Lee.
Yes.
Dr. Amy Mateki.
Yes.
Ruben Osorio.
Yes.
On the motion. Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. So
We've been doing votes. Yeah, just hold that.
To be consistent with our meeting procedures, we will now open this up to the general item, board officers elections. Any comments from the public? Seeing none. Oh, we have one comment on the election of officers from Mr. Philip Young. If you would please step up.
Philip Young from California University, Silicon Valley. I I support the election. I think the elections are very good, and just because I experienced the leadership, wonderful leadership in the past year for all the board members, president, vice president, and all the board members. You really did a great job. You really scrutinize all the procedures in our profession, education, and the practice of them, and also take very quick response for all the either complaints or suggestions. You really take our suggestions. You really care our stakeholders. And for the legalization to protect our profession, when we consulting your board members, like I have several conversations with President Yongping Chen and Vice President Francisco Kim and Dr. Mateki, a lot of questions, consult them. They give us a very, very professional answers and guidance. So thank you so much, and fully support for your positions.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Any additional comments from members of the audience in front of us? Seeing none, let's go ahead and turn to the WebEx for any public comments on the board officer elections as an item.
All right, we are open for public comment on all of agenda item 12. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take a few seconds now to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request for public comment, do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, please. Thank you, David.
Okay, so I guess I can continue leading this meeting. If I'm not elected, then I give
Only at the end.
Only then I'll still have to do the job. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate all the board members' support and recognition. And I learned from all of you because I come to the board late. You guys earlier than me, so I learned so much and get so much help from you. So if anything I did right is and I work together with you and under your leadership and assistance, and also our EO Badir did a tremendous job to supervise me. And me as a profession comes aboard, I know nothing. I will say no nothing. So today I learned a lot. Every week we have a meeting. So I learned a lot from the Brandon, legal. So he keep all board safe. So for the last year, I want to thank you for all the board member, and also thank you for all the staff, Christine and Miss Huddard, and Miss Enrico, everybody. Of course, thank for professional stakeholders, strong support. Collegial is the way to make the board work successful. Okay. So next item is 13, discussion and possible action regarding the acupuncture board's executive officer level and the salary increase. So this item, we actually, in the last meeting, we had a closed meeting, give our EO, Ben Badia, evaluation or assessment. So I like to just read a little bit about the assessment after. Okay, so I think everybody wrote very good assessment. So all items are excellent, and I just put everybody's comments together. So I didn't have a chance to share with you, so I just read the overall evaluation. Ben's overall performance significantly exceed the board's expectations and consistently demonstrated extraordinary leadership and ability in all the board's operations. With his tireless efforts and dedicated passion as EO, he fostered a friendly and productive working environment ensuring completion of tasks and project in advance of deadlines, and the implementation of plans and the procedures to increase the efficiency and the effectiveness of board work. EO Padilla is a priceless asset to the board. His standards for himself and his team are always higher than expected. He devoted his energy, intelligence, and the rich experiences gained from 10 years as EO to ensure the board meets its goals in public protection. In fact, some stakeholders have commented that the last 10 years of the board's functioning have been among the best in its history. So if you agree, yes. So here I want to special thank you for the former board president, Dr. Amy Mataki, under her leadership. So the board is thinking to have to discuss the possible level increasing of the EO payment. So that's why I mentioned the job is not just the today or last year or this position was categorized as old in 2000. So from 2000, the new century, to today, a quarter of century passed, but for 25 years. And the job complexity and the staff increasing, licensing number from 7,000 to today, the license total number is 20,300, something like that. So that's huge. So we can see in the first 25 years, the licensee is only 7,000. And the recent 25 years, this year will mark 50 years of California acupuncture legalization. So the latest 25 years, with licensee increased about 13,000. So it's a good trend. Look at the number we see is the good development of this profession. And that including the EO's great effort. And EO Padilla came to the board in 2008, and 2016, he became to be the board EO and has been EO for almost 10 years, 9 years. And this salary level has not increased. So I would suggest to increase the level from O to N. So it sounds odd. It's the opposite way, the number. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Madam President. First, I want to congratulate your new leadership. And we really so fortunate to have you to continue lead us. I just want to say, I want to echo what President has seen with Mr. Baudier for the last 9 years or 8 years for his leadership. This board, if you know the history, I think there's many of you being participated, watch how this board has been growing, and the leadership is everything. I want to see this board was a black sheep in the DCA, and we were like sunset every 2 years, and it's a really take up executive officer, Mr. Baudier, helped work with the president. I was fortunate for your trust, work with the vice president, Mr. Osoro, together for 4 years, and we worked really hard. Like yesterday, you saw the way how we worked. That's used to we work almost every month like that. So board meeting from 1 day to 2 days, there is a lot behind the scenes. And for the leaders like this, the board like to continue keep it. but you can't keep someone. Everything else is an increase, and our EO salary doesn't increase much. And we could not retain the good leadership. So I appreciate professionals for your support. And we, our finance in a good shape in many ways, but we really need to protect our good leaders who's the one did a lot of the work you can see with his staff, licensing manager, Mr. Hurd, and Miss Brothers, is since I came in, it's very steady, dedicated staff and work with Mr. Bodia. So this is another way to see we have a steady leaders. You return and draw good staff to consistent. It's very important. Early, Mr. Osorio, Member Osorio already said, take a while to learn. Get on the board. It's really so much information, but Mr. Bodia's shadowed is always available. You cannot understand at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I can call him. As a president, I did abuse him a little bit, so 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 I want to say I'm highly supportive for the increase, and I really want whoever the one in charge of the pay, increase the pay, to hear it. We need to keep Mr. Bodia to this position. Such a blessing for this board. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President, for allowing me to say it.
I would like to add and agree with everything that both you had said about our sir. It's so deserving for somebody like you get this promotion. We tried 2-3 years ago, I think it was, and we're so hopefully that it's going to go through. I've been more than almost 40 years in dealing with owners or managers, municipalities of small or large, 100 workers directing, and you are by far the best I've seen. Your professionalism, your dedication, it's impeccable. You're always in a good mood. You never rush. You're such a professional, and it shows in the staff how everybody works with you. And the board is so lucky to have you, and I hope that they do give it that. And also, I've been told that we are one of the best boards. That yeah, yeah, yeah. And it is thanks to you, your staff, that has accomplished all this. So congratulations and thank you for your work and time.
Thank you, Mr. Soro. And any more comments?
I just I want to say some word. From as a public members, I go to the board. I learn a lot, and I seek. So many times I call them. They give me a guidance. Explain things for me, then educate. So I really appreciate all your work. And I can call them. Weekend or anytime. He can reply me immediately. I really appreciate all this kind of support. Thank you for your leadership. Thanks.
I've known Ben for good, like almost 10 years since he came over to the board. I think I've been starting to attending the board meeting. So since then, it's been a long time, but I see your dedication and your hard work, and I think it's about time to get paid. Congratulations.
You want to say something?
Oh, this is Gregory Leong. I'm a public board members. I've been around for about a year. And when I first come here, I don't know anything and I don't know anybody, but I always get a warm welcome from Ben. And when I ask him a question, he always very delightful, provide me the answers. And even in the middle of the nights when I call him, he'll do the same thing. His professionalism and his warm kindness is impeccable. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for all the board members. So I just want to give some fact, what his Mr. Bodia's achievement. So about staffing from 2000, year of 2000, the staffing was 8, number of 8. In the 2025, now it's 12. So it's 1/3 increasing for his management work and complexity. And he also not just grow himself, he helped all the staff grow. So the staff from only 1 AGPA, that's the high level analyst, to now A and A high level analyst. So that's huge number change, and also increased added on one special investigator, one manager, right? Two managers. So that's a lot more work for his team. And of course, the licensing number increased 2/3 from the, right, in 25 years. And the second is he did a job of the fee changing. That's 2018 conducted a third-party fee study. In 2019, a board approved updated fees to seek legislative authority. 2020 fee changes implemented. For the state leadership accountability reports initiated in 2019 and submitted every 2 years with semi-annual implementation reporting. So for licensing education, in 2004, the board worked with the Little Hoover Commission to address necessary changes to the regulation of acupuncture. In 2005, the board increased the curriculum from 2348 hours to 3,000 hours. In 2017, the board was mandated by SB 1236 that this triggered changes to acupuncture school approval requiring 3 separate organizations. So those job changes created actual work. Changes to curriculum review process for training programs. In 2017, the board was mandated by SB 1236 to conduct training program curriculum reviews in 30 days. So a lot of push. So should I go? Keep too many. Keep, what's that? So for licensing education, continuing education, 2024 enacted regulation introducing 4 hours of continuing education in laws and ethics per review cycle. So that help prevent, educate the licensees and the public, and also preventive for the violation. So try to decrease the violation. 2020 introduced the per unit continuing education fee. 2020 decreased the board maximum allowed board processing time for continuing education courses application from 45 days to 30 days. Everybody's happy for that, right? So 2020, rolled out the continuing education provider and the course application and online payment system, greatly reducing times, save everybody's times. It's very efficient. That's called the part of the work of business modernization of the board. 2025 rolled out the continuing education audit module on the Connect platform. So that Mr. Herder just reported today. Licensing examination, computer-based testing introduced in 2018, allowing individual applicant to test when they are ready to oppose to holding the exam in the physical location twice a year, testing all applicants at once. I think that job was done under Dr. Evi Mataki's leadership as a president. Licensing population, I mentioned from 7,000 to now 20,355. And we have more than 13,000 active licensees now. Business modernization, licensing platform development, 2018 business process mapping, 2019 drafted requirements for contract for development of new licensing platform, joined the first cohort for business modernization with 3 other DCA programs for cost savings and shared functionality. So I explain, joined to carpet board and some other big board. So we are small board. So join the big board save us a lot of money. So that's very smart design. 2020 development of licensing functionality begins. 21 flow rollout of licensing functionality. 2020 2022 continue education process development for Connect. Enforcement, second enforcement analyst approved in 2014. Sorry, this phone is not very small. So overall, I feel I would say I have one description of Badia. His knowledge is like an encyclopedia. I said, how can you have such a good memory? Anytime ask the question, mostly he can answer me or he can pull out the information for me. And every Wednesday, we have a meeting, dedicated meeting. So I know how much time he, just for prepare this meeting, since March to now, every Wednesday we talk. So that's how much time he put. And also, I heard from some board member, former Vice President, Mr. Osoro. He said, when did Ben sleep? He said he worked like a robot. So he gave two names, encyclopedia and the robot. Okay, that's all my comments. So do we have a motion to make a motion for the level increasing? So I like to also have guidance from DCA, Ms. Catherine Bachelor.
Hello. Yes, so essentially.
Thank you for your guidance.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yes, so now you just need to make a motion to increase the level to level end.
Just a quick item, if I may. Thank you, all of you and members of the public. I really appreciate your support and your incredibly kind words. It's a passion to work here, and it's a passion to help this profession really be the best it can be. Help it be the best it can be. I'm not We aren't here to force you. We're here to work with you. And we're really trying to encourage your participation. The state raise process is a bit confusing, perhaps to those outside and maybe even to some of us inside the state. So what's happening here is we have two items we have to do. I can no longer receive a raise at my current level. So what we have to do is we have to have a motion on the table to increase the level. These are arbitrary values to you, but it's technical terms for HR that's on the line with us. And so for that motion, it is actually about the EO position. So whether it's me or somebody else, what President Chen was reporting to you here may have sounded like my accolades, but it really is built upon the work of all the EOs that came before me and the staff that came before me since the year 2000. That was the last time this position was worked with the government to identify its salary structure. In the time that I've been working here, I've received 2 salary merit raises, and that will be the second motion because I've reached the top of the current level. I cannot get any more without this level increase. So we'll first be doing a motion to increase the level, and then we'll go for the EO position, which whether it's me or not, I think that is warranted given how this board has grown. I feel that the person stepping in after me into this position is deserving of this, perhaps more. But we'll leave that for later. And then afterwards, if the board so deems me to have a raise, I would welcome that as well. So perhaps a motion on the floor to change the level from O to N. Catherine, if I captured that correctly.
That is correct.
Thank you.
And so I just want to clarify that's N as in Nancy.
I'll take M.
Yes, N as in Nancy, from level O to level N like Nancy.
Great, thank you.
Dang it, Brennan.
Okay, so I make a motion to increase acupuncture board EO's salary level from O to N as Nancy.
And I will second that.
Thank you. And the motion is on the table. Anything from the board member? Okay, no, you already had opportunity to express. Yeah, okay, so for the public on the site. Okay, I saw a lot of, both sum up, double sum up. Okay. Okay, so please open the public comments from online. David, please.
WebEx is now taking public comment on agenda item 13, or just the motion? Just the motion. On the motion for salary change from O to N. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. And our first request is coming from Lin Yang. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Hi, Lin Yang from AACMA. We support the raise of the level. I think over the years we've been seeing the improvement in renew our license and in terms of information, the access to the information. It's a great job, and I think that the current EO is accessible and always, reach out to talk to me or to other associations. So I really appreciate that. May I ask what's the difference between level O to level N? What's the difference of the salary in terms of like percentage of dollar amount?
Would you like me to answer that?
Anybody?
I can answer that. So level O is from $8,630 to $9,614, and level N has a salary range of 9,051 to 10,085.
What is the percentage of the increase?
The percentage of the increase if they were to increase the
To
executive
N?
officers?
Yeah, from O to N. What's the percentage?
The percentage if they were to increase the percentage of the incumbent? Is that what you're asking?
So
There is-
the public commenter, these are just classification pay ranges. We're affording, this isn't actually dealing with my raise. This is dealing with changing the executive officer's pay spectrum or range. So currently I'm being paid at the O level and I've topped that out. So this is, now I'm talking about myself, but we're requesting that to get a raise and to address the increase in complexity, we have to increase the executive officer's level classification to N, which then jumps a certain amount. We will discuss the pay increase after and if the board votes to give the executive officer the classification change. But thank you for your
Yeah,
comments.
I understand that. I just don't. I'm not talking about your particular pay rate, the pay raise. I wanted to know from O to N. What's the percentage? You give me a dollar amount, but right now I can't calculate it. I'm sorry. Do you have a percentage?
I don't think we have a percentage easily available, Catherine. I don't know if you have the top of your head, but we just have the salary range available at this time. So, and I went to law school to not do math, so I apologize. I cannot help you more there.
So okay, I'll calculate it myself. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for doing that homework. So it's a range. It's not like a exact number. So it's overlap. Actually, higher, the lowest of the higher level is lower than the lower level, the highest payment. Okay, so it's a little complex. I know you yeah. So, so any more comments from online?
This is the moderator. There are no more comment requests online.
Okay, thank you, David. So motions here, we can roll call.
President Yang-Ping Chen,
Yes.
Vice President Francisco Kim,
Yes.
Gregory Liang,
Yes.
Shudong Li,
Yes.
Dr. Amy Mateki,
Big yes.
Ruben Osorio.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. So next motion is the salary amount increasing, right? Catherine, please.
That is correct.
Okay. So I make a motion of increase the EO Badia's salary amount.
I second.
Okay, by by 4.9% or to the maximum of level N as Nancy.
I second.
Thank you. Okay, so motions here, we open to the board member comments. Okay. Okay, so public. Okay, I saw all sum up. Open to the public online, please.
All right, we are open for public comment via WebEx. If you'd like to make a comment on the second motion, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3. And our first request is coming from Lin Yang. Hold on just a moment. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Hi, Lin Yang again. This time I'm going to speak on behalf of a CIC, which is California Acupuncture Coalition. It made up of the AACMA, CISOMA, and ACMAC, and 5 schools, also the Japanese Association. We discussed the pay raise about EO, and we agree, we support the raise less than 5%. So that was the reason I wanted to know the percentage. So I can express whether I can support it on behalf of the CIC. Thank you. That's all I want to say. Thank you so much.
And that was our only request online.
Okay, well, 4.9%. Okay, so motion on the floor. Thank you.
President Dr. Yang-Ping Chen. Oh, I'm taking
4.9. I had a motion earlier, 4.9 all to maximum. Actually, I calculated. So maximum increasing is about 4.9, less than 5%. Yeah.
Oh, I'm taking roll on the motion. We did have Francisco Kim second, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, yes, complete. Oh, okay. 4.9%.
Oh, we already passed. Now it's.
So it's kind of like a conditional. It's a 4.9% raise or to the max of the next one, whichever one, because it'll max me out at the next level. Right.
Okay.
So is to be clear about where it goes in case there's any changes that happen between now and when the additional departments discuss this. Okay. And now you've called for Dr. Yang-Ping Chen, President Yang-Ping Chen. And
Understood.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Vice President Francisco Kim.
Yes.
Gregory Young.
Yes.
Shu Dongli.
Yes.
Dr. Amy Mateki.
Yes.
Ruben Osorio.
Yes.
Right. Motion passes.
Yeah, we should.
I just want to add it a little bit. This is for 25 years, first time, right? Okay, thank you.
Just to be consistent with how we operate the meetings, now that we've done the motion, we are now returning to public comment for the item itself. Any public comment from the audience here? Seeing none, just a lot of thumbs ups. Thank you. Seeing from the WebEx.
All right, we are open for public comment on all of agenda item 13. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take just a moment now to see if we have a request for public comment. Oh, and we're going to call on Lin Yang first. Hold on just a moment, please.
Hey, Leon again on behalf of the CIC, and we support the two motions put on the table, and I speak on behalf of CIC already. I'd like to make a suggestion to put I guess the salary is on the table and it's on website somewhere, and I think it probably helps the profession to understand the increase or salary structure if that information put it on the website or acupuncture board. That's my suggestion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And next we are going to call on Deborah Matos. Hold on just a moment, please. We're going to send you a request to unmute your microphone.
Hello, this is Deborah Matos. I'm the legislative advocate for Southern California University of Health Sciences. I have been their lobbyist for about 25 years. I have known Ben ever since he's been working at the board. I can't be any happier. I'm speaking right now for myself, but I'm sure that the university is behind me 100%. I wasn't planning on speaking, but I totally agree with everything that was said today. You all have done a fabulous job as board members. I've seen, as Neil has, many, many years of ups and downs. And I've worked with many, many different regulatory boards, but you're all doing a fantastic job. And I can't say any more about how happy I am what you did for Ben. Thank you.
Thank you. And those are all of our requests for public comment at the moment.
Thank you for all the stakeholders' comments, and congratulations for the EOPDIA. You are well deserved, as all of us say that. Yeah. So let's move to next item. Public comments for items not on the agenda. Maybe we put these two together. How about that? For future agenda? No? Okay. Okay, keep them separate. What time's the flight? You watch your. Okay. Okay. Public, public comments or items not on agenda.
And sorry, just to clarify, right after this, we'll do future agenda items. Slight difference.
Robert Hoffman, Yosan University. I just want to thank the board for all of your work, not just through the years, but especially this week. It's been very informative and very helpful, and I would encourage anybody in our profession or interest in the profession to attend a board meeting in person or via WebEx. I just emailed our staff and asked that our master's students get PD hours for attending board meetings, so I'm hoping that'll get implemented quickly. So it's just so helpful. And in light of that, not really an agenda item, but I would invite the board to work more collaboratively with ACOM, with the Council of Colleges, with NCCAOM. They regularly show up at each other's meetings for kind of updates, annual updates, or twice a year. What would that be? Biannual updates. And I think it would be really helpful, especially with ACOM, for the California Acupuncture Board to be more involved. I know those meetings have happened in the past, but to get those meetings together, because you can see from our profession, as we've heard in the last 2 days, a lot of people really don't understand what you do, like what your actual job is. And I think it would be really helpful to be out in public more often and working collaboratively with those agencies to help each other understand what you do and then help our profession understand what you do. Thank you.
More public comments in the room? On this agenda item 14 yet? No? Okay, so let's open online public comments on the agenda 14.
WebEx is now taking public comment on agenda item 14. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. And our first comment is coming from Chad. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone. Are you with us, Chad?
Yes, I'm here. Here I am.
Go ahead,
thank
please.
you. Listening to this meeting has been a real education, so I want to thank you, everybody, for the efforts that you put in here. That being said, I just want to briefly introduce myself and make a couple of comments quickly. I'm a veteran. My name is Chad. I'm an Army veteran, and I'm a patient at the VA, very frequent patient there. And I'm also a beneficiary of highly skilled acupuncture treatment. And just very briefly, I want to talk about the situation. At the time, I was suffering chronic sciatica pain due to an injury. And the VA was unable to control the pain except with about 46 pills of gabapentin a day, which pretty much knocked me out of commission. This went on for many years. There was no solution. Finally, I was given the name of a doctor in the Bay Area who was very highly trained acupuncturist, trained in China. And he went in there with his special needles. And within, I believe it was 5 sessions in 6 months, the pain was completely gone and I was no longer on the medicine. So I just wanted to say that there is a very, very marked difference, I think, between a doctor that can accomplish something like that and maybe a less trained acupuncturist or doctor in the West who wouldn't be able to tackle such a thing. And my concern here, one other thing that I wanted to make a comment. I was talking with someone, they were doing pain studies on my leg to see where the pain was traveling down the nerve, and they couldn't get a solid reading. And I talked about acupuncture, and the technician who was doing the work on me, it was inserting needles basically at the either end of the nerve. And she said, "What do you think about the acupuncture in America?" And I didn't know exactly what she was getting at. So I said, "Well, it lacks something." And I didn't know what the word was. And she came back with, she said, rigor. And that sort
30
of
seconds.
surprised me. Yeah, that really hit me. And I thought about that because without rigor, that doctor that treated me would not have been able to make the calls that he did or perform the technique that he did. And this is just for me to encourage all of the acupuncturists to really aim high and maybe think about having programs with Chinese hospitals or something. I don't know what, but to really up the game, it would be great. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. And that was our only request for public comment on this item. Oh, I take it back. We have another request. Lin Yang, hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Hi, Leon again. And this time I'm speaking on behalf of AACMA, and I'd like to suggest that we put the board talk about the increase of the education level on both ends. One is the admission, prerequisites for admission, and the doctoral entry level to get into the profession, because I think it is it is about the future of this profession, and it has to be done, and it's better to done it sooner or later, because another 50 years I'm not sure that we are still here, and if we just stay where we are. So I'd like to acupuncture to support this raising up this educational level. This is one, and another one is the consumer brochure. I'd like to request or suggest the board to send out the draft to everyone to gather the input, because we do want to have a very good consumer brochure that benefits or informative for the consumers. And so the on other issues, the Trina and immunotherapy and regarding dry needling, all those I made suggestions last time. I also like to the board and to put in the future agenda about preparation for sunset review. I understand that we have a lot of issues to tackle. I'd like to the board to collect as many opinions as possible from the profession, public, and schools, and to accomplish more during the sunset review. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that was the last request for public comment.
Thank you,
From
moderator.
WebEx.
So we open to the public.
Okay, my apology to the board and to the last speaker, because I had to run to the bathroom. So when I come back, I already moved to the online. So again, this is Andy Huang. I'd just like to reiterate my earlier proposal. I would like the board to please consider, in the name of public safety, please add to your agenda in the future meeting, please consider adding photos to the wall license as well as to the wallet license. And of course, an actual plastic ID card would be wonderful, but I know the board is concerned about the budget. So at least on the paper, it's very easy, I think, to upgrade or update all of the wall license and the water license to include a picture. So this way we will protect our all of the practitioner and the trust of all the patients and the public that he or she is who he or she say he is or she is. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments? Okay, so we close this item. Next item, public comments for, okay, future agenda items, the last one. Board member, please. Yeah, please.
This is Gregory Leon, public board members. I would like to ask a question. It may not be related to the board, or may not even concern with the board, but I just want to be some kind of clarification. My question is regarding the independent acupuncture clinics. Since we license the acupuncturists, what about the clinics? Do they require any kind of a health license? Or does Department of Consumer Affairs require any license?
Just pass that to him.
So if Department of Consumer Affairs require any health license or anything, I just want to have some kind of clarification. It might not be related to our board.
Aside from the wall license, that's what we have now for clinics as the requirement, but I'm not aware of any DCA requirements outside of ours.
Yeah, as far as I know, the license goes.
Remember, we're just like it's on the agenda now, not a community section. Okay.
I like to have the future agenda item keep the previously, yesterday we worked on those discussions on the curriculum, prerequisite, doctor's title, degrees, and clinical hours. So anything we were doing yesterday. So I like President continue people those on the future agenda. Thank you.
And if I may, clarification there. Dr. Mateki, I believe we also wanted to do a stronger outreach to the schools so that they would attend that next meeting and provide their input. We heard from actually a fair number of first professional doctorate programs, and that was quite heartening. We didn't really hear from any of the master's program schools, so that would be a welcome addition to that discussion.
Yes.
Thank you.
Correct. Thank you.
I think we're good. Any other items from board members? We'll open it up to the public. Future agenda items. I believe we already heard from Lin Young in terms of increasing prerequisites, which and increasing the doctoral, which Chair Mateki did request to revisit. I'm also sending a draft of everyone to the consumer guide and preparation for sunset review. And then Mr. Huang asked to add to the agenda photos to wall and pocket license. I would like to remind folks that The president will do what she can to address your items and add your items to the agenda. The agenda's purpose is to address critical board business and, of course, introduce stakeholder concerns as much as we can in addition to that. And so we cannot guarantee your requested item will be heard even at the next meeting, but we will do everything we can to at least address your question or bring it up. Mr. Kim, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I'd like to put the this clinical training, the limitation on 25% outside of the school to be discussed maybe in the future.
That will be included with the licensing discussion items as well. Should Madam President agree. That said, we will open it up to the public. Did you have? Sorry.
So I want to clarify, Dr. Mataki, you want to have next board meeting agenda to next board meeting agenda to include yesterday's all the agenda item in the committee move to the full board or keep it in the committee?
I think this is still need a committee work,
Okay.
and then we present the board. I think because it is a lot, and I see yesterday and today is very different. Because the full board, there is a lot of limitation in a way, it's just because we have so many things have to go through. So I like to have a committee work. If the professionals, stakeholders, you guys are going to work with the committee here, Member Liang and I, we do the best that we can with the staff. So I would like to have a committee work on that.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam
Clarify.
President. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
So I myself, last meeting, we mentioned to make a brochure for the consumer to understand what the board is doing, what the acupuncture profession is doing. So for better communication, public reach, that brochure I think is necessary. I would suggest for board meeting, we put that as a discussion. Okay.
May I suggest we take that back up at the enforcement committee so we can have more back and forth with our stakeholders as opposed to really having the strict adherence to the requirements when it's a full board meeting? The enforcement. Mm-hmm. Yeah. A future agenda item. Yes, definitely. It'll be on some agenda. Excellent.
Future.
Yes. Now for the public, any future agenda items aside from the ones I read out that was provided in the previous agenda item? Seeing none in person, let's open it up to the WebEx. Any public comment for future agenda items?
All right, we are open for public comment via WebEx. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. And our first request is coming from Lin Yang. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
I actually like to make a suggestion about the name of the degree, and would acupuncture board consider send out a survey, include the several choices, and I believe we have two mentioned yesterday and another one that proposed by AACMA today. Could we send out a survey, include at least those three, and to collect the public opinion about this? And then when we had a next board meeting, we have some statistics to talk about the name of the degree. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that was our only request online.
A meeting is agenda at what time? 4:05.